So I'm just going to continue from where I stopped. I said, ideally, your spouse is supposed to be your best friend. All right. Then I said, last week, I said something about the person that the qualities that you see in a man as a lady now, the qualities I will see as a single lady, the qualities I will see in a man and say, okay, I can make this man my husband. They are going to be similar to the qualities I will see in a male friend and say, okay, this one is my best friend. All right. The qualities you see in your best friend and the qualities you see in somebody that you can make your partner, that's your spouse, somebody you can spend the rest of your life with in marriage, they are very similar. The major difference is in the limitation that you put on these two relationships. For that of your best friend, there's a limit on your friendship. There's a limit on that relationship. And what are these limits? These limits now, they don't exist in marriage, but they exist in your friendship, right? What is this limit or what are these limits? Number one is covenant. You have a covenant with your spouse. You don't have covenant with your best friend. That's a difference. I'm saying that your best friend and your spouse, they are going to have similar values or similar qualities that you see in them. For you to say somebody is my best friend, there are qualities you saw in that person. For you to also say, oh, I want to make this person my spouse, I'm saying that most of the times, the same quality you see in someone you make your best friend, what you see in somebody that you also make your spouse. All right. I'm just saying that there are limitations on friendship, and then those limitations don't exist in marriage. What are those limitations? One, covenants. You have covenants in marriage, you don't have covenant in best friendship, right? And then number two, consummation. That's physical intimacy. So your spouse ideally should be your best friend. But then that brings me to number six. Realistically, not all married couples are best friends. Ideally, your spouse should be your best friend, but realistically, not all married couples are best friends. Now, the question is why? Why is it that not all couples are best friends? What is the reason? Number one, they did not build friendship before marriage. They did not intentionally build friendship before marriage. They just left it to chance. They just left it believing that, okay, by the time, we get married, we have sex a lot, the feelings are there. They just believe that feelings and sex they were enough for marriage to happen. They did not intentionally build friendship. That's why they are not best friends in marriage, or that's why they are not close friends in marriage. Number two, they are not building friendship in marriage. Remember, I just said that for some people who are not best friends as couples, number one, they did not build the friendship before marriage. Number two, now that they are married, they are not still building the friendship. This is the major one. This is the reason why a lot of married people are not friends. They are not building friendship in marriage. All right, they are not investing into spending quality time together, working on communication, updating each other about their lives. They are not doing none of that is happening. So the man is not best friends with his wife. They are not. Let's even leave the issue of best friend. They are not close friends. They don't share deep things together. They are just playing roles. They're just playing their roles and all of that. Right? Why are some couples not best friends? No mutual agreement to build friendship. So we have, maybe only one person is putting in the efforts to build friendship, and then the other person says, I'm not really interested. And then, the person says, okay, let's just be roommates, and they are married. We are looking at why people will want to have best friends outside of marriage. We're saying that people who are in marriage, couples, they are not best friends, right? And they are not best friends for these reasons. I just mentioned number three, no mutual agreement to build friendship. One person is trying, the other person is just, building a stone wall. They are not interested in friendship. Just be the husband, I'll be the wife, and let's do our thing. That's what, is happening. Number four, a lot of couples, or rather, a lot of them have replaced the love that should exist between them and their spouse. They have replaced it with the love that they share with their children. For instance, this happens especially with women. So maybe they are married to a partner, to a man who is not emotionally available, or maybe they are married to someone who doesn't really care about building friendship in marriage. They are not close. The person is not even spending quality time. They don't communicate as much. There's no emotional satisfaction coming from that marriage. What do most women do? They channel all of that love, all of that attention, all of that emotional and satisfaction that should have come from the spouse. They channel it to their children. So every time mommy and the children, they are going out. Why? Because the man is never available or is not interested. Things that you want to do and say, okay, let's go out today, let's hang out in so place today, let's do this today, just because you want to bond with this person. But because they are not interested, you channel all of that because your heart needs love. You need to love and be loved. So you channel all of that attention, all of that need, all of that craving, you channel it to your children. So there are a lot of people who are not best friends or close friends with their spouse. Why? Because they have replaced the love that should exist between them and their spouse with the love that they have for their children. All right. Number five, why are some couples not best of friends or close friends in marriage? Some of them are still stuck in their past relationships. Okay, I'm going to dwell on this one just a little bit. I'm saying that some couples are not best friends because some of them, they are still stuck in a past relationship. Do you know that there are people who have convinced themselves that they cannot love another person the way they have loved somebody in their past? There are people like that. There was somebody that they once loved in their past, an ex, right? Now they are married to somebody else. They have convinced themselves that, you see, my life going forward from this moment, there is nobody I can love as much as I love that person. Maybe the person died, or maybe because of certain differences in race, tribe, whatever, they didn't get married to that person, and then they married somebody else. They convinced themselves that, look, I can never love somebody as much as I loved that person in my past. And so, because their mind is not fully in that marriage, they cannot be best friends with their spouse. I'm talking about reasons why some couples are not best friends. I'm saying some people are still stuck with an ex in the past. It's been 10 years, it's been 5 years. They are still stuck with that person in the past. Even though the person has died, they are still stuck in that place. They love that dead person more than the spouse that they married that is alive. Why? Because they have convinced themselves that I can never love anybody else the way I love them. That is why they cannot grow friendship or build friendship in their marriages. There's something the Bible talks about. It says, let your eyes be single, let your focus be single. You see, when your attention is divided, when your heart is not fully with somebody, even if they are killing themselves to please you, you will never appreciate them. In fact, you start comparing them with that person in your past, right? You want them, you create this invisible standard that they must meet. They must be like that person from your spouse. You cannot build friendship like that in marriage. You cannot. All right. Now let me pause to say this. There are two kinds of married people who have best friends of opposite genders. There are two kinds of married people. One, there are people who had this best friend before marriage. I'm saying as a married woman now, it's either I have a male best friend before I got married, or number two, I have a male best friend now that I'm married. Those are the kinds or categories of people who have, as married people, they have best friends of the opposite gender. It's either they had that best friend before they got married, or it was when they got married that they had that best friend. Now, let's move on. Now, if you I've seen situations where, like I just said, there are people who were best friends with a guy or with a lady, right? But for some reason, they didn't marry that person. I don't know. For some reason, they did not marry that person. Maybe it was parents, parents putting their foot down and saying, no, you cannot marry this guy, you cannot marry this lady. For whatever reason, maybe it was religion, maybe it was even genotype, maybe it was, different reasons they did not marry that person. For some, it's not even unfortunate or negative factors. You know, For some of them, they just saw this person as a friend, nothing more. My bottom line here is that certain people, before they got married, they had a best friend. They did not marry that person. All right. And sometimes it's because, how do I put it now? They didn't marry that person because maybe there was a particular quality that they were looking for in a spouse, and they didn't see it in that person. The person is their best friend. They love the person, they like the person, right? Of the opposite gender, they like the person. But there's a particular quality that they want their spouse to have. That best friend doesn't have it. And so they said, I cannot marry this person, even though we are great friends. It's either they saw something or did not see something in that person. They did not marry that person. But for friendship, they are good friends with that person, right? Now they decide to get married to somebody else who they see that quality they are looking for. I hope you are getting me. All right. I'm saying some people did not marry their best friend because there was a particular quality that they wanted in a spouse that the best friend did not have. They went ahead and married somebody else who had, or rather has, that quality that they are looking for. But you see, they find themselves in a dilemma. The dilemma now is that they have developed a deep bond of friendship with that person in their past, right? It's like you are in a relationship with two people for two different reasons. That best friend is there. They like the friendship that they have with that person, but they cannot make that person their spouse. The person they made their spouse, they cannot build the friendship that they have with this other person. So it's like I need your friendship. I need this quality as a spouse. So these two people, they keep these two people in close by because these two people are supplying different needs in their lives. Let me put it like that. Now the truth is there is no let me be honest with you. There is no spouse that will meet 100% of all your needs in marriage. There is no spouse that will meet all 100% of your needs. I'm not saying as the marriage progresses, you guys will grow together, you understand each other, you cover a lot together. You can then become, you meet your spouse 100% as the marriage progresses. But that you get married to somebody and instantly they are meeting all 100% of your needs or your expectations, it doesn't happen like that. No spouse can 100% give you everything you are looking for in a partner. Why? They have imperfections, they have flaws, right? Now, just because that person cannot give you all that you are looking for in a partner is not a license to now go and look for that thing they are not giving you in another person, your best friend. So let's say you love compliments a lot, right? This your best friend that this person was your best friend before you got married. They know how to give you compliments, right? Your partner that you married doesn't really know how to give you compliments. Every time you need compliments, who do you go to? You go to your friend. Why? Because you feel that this one knows me better. This one understands me better. I'm talking about people who keep, a best friend and a spouse for two different reasons. That's what I'm not saying all friendships of the opposite sex are like this. I'm just, narrowing down to certain things that can happen. There are many people like this. The reason why that best friend is still in their life, that person was their best friend before they got married, but they refuse to let go of that best friend. They still keep that person close in addition to their spouse because that friendship is supplying a particular emotional need that their spouse is probably not meeting in their lives. That's my point, right? So they can say, oh, just continue to play the role of wife. See, some men can marry you just because you can cook. They are they love food so much, and so maybe their best friend, they like everything about the best friend, but the best friend doesn't know how to cook. They can marry somebody just because somebody knows how to cook. But guess what? Emotional connection is not with that person, it's not with their spouse. Just be cooking. That's the reason I married you. When they need emotional satisfaction, emotional validation, emotional, connection and all of that, they go to that best friend of the opposite gender. This is why some people keep, relationships like that. Point number 7, if you are, like I just said now, that there are categories of people, two categories of married people who keep best friends of the opposite sex. I said number one is either that best friend has been their friend before they got married. Number two is when you are now a married person and it is now that you are married that you are now getting a best friend. Instead of your spouse, you are getting a best friend as a married person. You are having a best friend inside marriage. It's not that this person was your best friend before now. No. This is now that you are married. I don't know if you've heard things like work husband, work wife. There's one particular colleague that is closer to you among your colleagues in the office, and so they tag it work husband, work wife, something like that. I don't know if you've heard of that. It happens. It does. All right. Now, while this may be surface level for some people, it's not surface level. Things are really happening with that work wife and that work husband. The moment they are at work, that person really assumes the role of their wife or of their partner. That person is going for lunch. They take this person along. Oh, yeah, let's go for lunch. Or the person will bring food for them. Or the person assumes, the role of a wife or a husband at work in that vicinity. So these things happen. Somebody say, I can't stand the work husband, work wife thing. It does happen. It does happen. We are talking about these things because they happen. Yes, like I said, ideally, your spouse should be your best friend, but realistically, that is not the case with everybody. There are people who their spouses are not their best friend. They have a best friend at work. That's their work wife or their work husband. They have a best friend in, wherever. And so they are just living like roommates with their spouses. But, when they need to feel emotionally alive, they know where they are going to get their own emotional satisfaction from. So, as a married person, now you are not someone who had a best friend before marriage. It is not that you are married that you are looking for a best friend. What is the problem? That's my question. Why? Why do you need to look for a best friend when you have your spouse? Why can't you work on becoming best friends with your spouse? If you are a married person and it is now that you want to look for a best friend of the opposite gender, let me be honest with you, you're not looking for a best friend. You're looking for emotional support from somebody else. So that, when things, you are looking for a backup plan. Let me just put it like that. You're looking for a backup plan. Yeah. The day you quarrel with your husband, the day you quarrel or argue with your wife, you have somebody to fall back to for emotional support. That's what you are looking for. You're looking for emotional validation. You're looking for attention. Yeah. Because I do not see, yes, emotional affairs. That's what we'll be treating next week. You're looking for emotional support. You say, oh, me and my wife, we are not best friends as married people, so I need to have a best friend of the opposite gender. Why? It doesn't make sense. It's not friendship you are looking for. You are looking for what? Emotional support. You are looking for a backup. So when supply from your wife or your husband is not coming, you get with that other person, right? Number 8 point, in marriage, all friendships should become family friendships. When we get married, my friends should become our friends. When we get married, your friends should become our friends. All right? They don't just become or remain your friends alone. We now have our friends, family friends, right? Whereby I know your friends, you know my friends. We are all family friends together. Let me tell you the truth. Sin thrives in secrecy. If you are keeping a friend of the opposite gender that your husband doesn't know about, your wife doesn't know about, something is wrong. Or you are keeping a friend of the opposite gender that you cannot bring into your family. You cannot bring them in, and introduce them to your spouse and say, oh, my wife, meet Sylvia, my friend, close friend from work. Sylvia, meet my wife. And then Sylvia comes, visits your home sometimes, has dinner with you, with your kids, and there's no tension. If something like that cannot happen, If Sylvia comes into your home and her body language is funny, or your husband is finding it difficult to introduce Sylvia to you, or you are finding it difficult to introduce Dave from work to your husband, something is wrong. When you become friends with someone, or rather, when you become married, your friends become family friends. As a married woman, I cannot be having a male friend that my husband does not know. My husband is not aware that this person is my friend, or aware of the depth of the friendship that I have with this person. If the person is from work, he should know. Even if the person is, for instance, I work remotely. So sometimes he doesn't even know them physically. But when I'm talking with them over the phone, I'm not looking for where to hide because the conversation is funny. No. Sin thrives in secrecy. Even what you don't intend to be seen, the moment you start covering it up, it will lead to sin eventually. Yes, what you cover will cover you up. When you cover it up, in the end, it will cover you. So when you get married, that your friend, whether male or female, should become a friend to the family. You, as the husband, you get married, that sister, that work lady or wherever, whatever, should become a friend to your family. When you do this, you are protecting yourself, right? You are also protecting that person, and then you are reassuring your spouse. At the end of the day, all of us are human beings. There's a way I will act, even if something is not going on between me and a guy. My husband will feel disrespected. He will feel dishonored. He will even start to get suspicious. Whereas maybe nothing is going on, but it's the way I'm carrying that friendship. As a married person, you need to reassure your spouse. And how do you do that? By making your friends family friends. I don't know if you've seen this kind of situation. There are some ladies, um, maybe they are close to a married man, but they are not close to his wife. Yeah. This thing, I'm sorry I'm coming at ladies because it's ladies that do these things a lot. Yeah, it's ladies that do these things a lot. It's very rare for you to hear that, oh, the male friend of a lady after she got married, that male friend is causing problems in her marriage. It's not like it doesn't happen. It does, but it's very rare. It's on a very, very low percentage. It's ladies. They're the ones that are always causing problems in their male best friend's marriage. That's why I'm coming at the ladies. Yes. So you see sometimes that a lady is close to a married man, but is not close to the wife and doesn't want to be close to the wife, just the husband alone. It's the husband that is her friend. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the wife. And it's not like they had issues. It's different when maybe the husband tried to bring them close and then maybe they had issues and then the wife says, oh, I don't want any drama. Let me just be on my own. The person also says, me too, I don't want drama. Let me just be on my own. That's a different case. There are some ladies, no issue between the wife and they don't just like the man's wife. It's the man they like. And guess what? Their favorite time is when they are alone with the man. If the wife should just come into the room or enter the house when they are alone with their face don't change. Their demeanor has changed. That's when they stand up and say, oh, I was just leaving. I was just about to leave. They don't want the woman around. Their focus is just the man. Such friendships, they are questionable. When I was talking about the singles, I gave an instance of a young man that got married. And when he got married, he took his wife, they were driving somewhere and he decided to branch, just to greet one of his female friends along that, road. And then the woman came out, totally ignored his wife. This is somebody that just got married, totally ignored her, went straight to this her male friend who just got married and was just talking, yapping, trying to crack jokes. Even the wife tried to greet her. She did not even acknowledge. There are ladies like that. I wonder what point you are trying to prove. I wonder what point you are trying to prove. So there are things like that. When you get married, your friends become my friends. My friends become your friends, irrespective of the gender. That's a very, very wise thing to do. So if I'm a married woman and I'm having a guy who is a friend, my husband doesn't know him. My husband is not aware that he's my friend. We have meetings. My husband is not aware that I'm going to see this person. We hide to meet or we hide to talk. What are we talking about that I need to hide? It's questionable. All right. Point number nine, much more than discipline. Like I said last two episodes when I was talking to the singles, I said a lot of the times you see opposite sex friendships in themselves, they are not bad. That you are friends with a guy is not a bad thing. I said this because a lot of people don't have the discipline, the level of discipline that it takes to keep such a friendship very platonic, to keep it simple, to keep it pure. A lot of people don't have that discipline. So they end up messing things up. That's why we have this view on opposite sex friendships and we look at them like, oh, they are so, I mean, they are somehow. No, the friendship in itself is not bad. Is when people don't have the discipline to manage that friendship properly. That's when they do rubbish in the name of opposite sex friends or besties. All right, the friendship in itself is not bad, but then the discipline, it requires discipline. Yes, because as opposite genders, emotions are so easy to get in the way. It requires a high level of discipline to keep your emotions out of it. All right. Now, I'm saying much more than discipline. Point number nine, much more than discipline in opposite sex friendships. Discretion is important. Now, you see, this matter of discretion, I'm going to tabernacle here a bit. What I mean is, I'm going to dwell on this for maybe the next 5 to 7 minutes. All right. Now, this issue of discretion is what I've discovered that you assume a lot of people have, but you discover that they don't. You assume a lot of people would have discretion in the way they handle certain things, but you discover that they genuinely do not have um, the discretion. Now, as a spouse who has a close friend, maybe this friend is a best friend or a close female friend. As a guy, you have a close female friend before you got married, all right? Or as a lady, you have a close male friend before you got married. Now you have brought that person in as, oh, a family friend. So your husband knows this person, your wife knows this person, you're all friends together. Even at that, I'm saying that you need discretion, not just discipline. You need discretion, all right, in the way you handle that friendship, especially when that person is of the opposite gender. All right. Nobody is telling you to throw your friends away just because you got married, whether male or female. Nobody's asking you to throw your friends away that, oh, because you got married, then all these your friends, bye bye to them. You don't talk to them anymore. You don't have, nobody's telling you to throw your friends away. But what we are saying is that as a married person now, there is a way that you carry your friendships. All right. There's going to be certain changes that you will implement in these friendships so that it doesn't affect your marriage negatively. I'm going to share a personal experience. All right. Now, when I got married, I didn't live in the same city with my husband. So where I lived and worked, I had, or rather, I have, because he's still my friend. I have a friend, right? I was married at the time. He was not married. So yeah, we were close. But he never invited me over to his house at any time. But even at that, me, I made up my mind that I will not visit him until he got married. He was in a relationship, then he was preparing for his wedding. I made up my mind that even if this person should say, oh, can you, let's go to my house, or maybe just invite me on a, nothing bad happening. If he should even invite me to his house, I've already made up my mind that I will not visit this friend, this male friend, until he was married and his wife will be present in their home. That was my decision. Now, why did I do this? Number one, I'm married, right? I don't want to create a wrong impression for my husband. Yeah. It's not hard for somebody to pick up the phone and say, look, oh, are you the husband of so person? I just want to inform you that there's this guy that your wife is always hanging around. We always see them together in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. It's possible for somebody to do that. I did not want to create the wrong picture, right? So I made up my mind. It's just like the way the Bible said that, and Daniel proposed in his heart. He never invited me, but even me, I made up my mind that me too, I will not visit him until he was married and his wife will be present in their home. Then I would visit because she's around. I didn't want to create the wrong impression. for my husband. I didn't want to create a wrong impression for his wife to be. By the time she starts hearing that, oh, there's one lady that's always going there, always neighbors, people in, because I know this friend from church, people in church. And then, sometimes that's why I said much more than discipline, you need discretion. There is a way you can, in your ignorance, you can create pictures that are not even real. You can create the impression that something is going on just because of how you are carrying that friendship ignorantly. You can create a wrong or send a wrong message to your spouse that makes them to feel like is something going on because of how you are carrying that friendship. So you need discretion. All right. Another experience, I had this is it was not a friend, I would say, but or maybe I can call him a friend. This person in my DM, I always be seeing things like hello angel, hi dearie, hello sweetheart, princess. I mean all of those names. I had to tell the person, I said, look, all of these names, I prefer that you keep it simple. All right. Just address me by my name. I'm fine. I don't want all of these sweet names and all of that. And then the person got angry and was like, oh, he did not mean any harm. His mind is pure, his mind is clean. He didn't have any bad intentions. He was just calling me all those names because that's how he just addresses ladies and all of that. I said, look, I've heard you. Okay. I never said you had bad intentions, but I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. All right. I don't want you to address me by baby, sweetheart, angel. No. Why? Because I don't want one day my husband will pick up my phone and see such things. See, whatever I need to start explaining and explaining and explaining, I don't want to do it. I don't know if you're getting me. I'm married. So my husband will just see my phone one day and be saying, hello, angel. Hello, baby. Hello, sweetheart. He paints a picture. Nothing is happening between me and this person, but that's just how the person is addressing me. It starts to paint a picture in that person's mind that why is this conversation like this? What is going on? Right? So I had to put boundaries for the person. Many of us, that's why I said we need discretion. You need to set boundaries. As a married person or as a person who is in a serious relationship, there's a way you carry yourself. Yes, you need to set boundaries. I had to tell the person, look, I'm married. You can't be addressing me by all of these sweet names. The person said, no, I'm misunderstanding him. He never had bad intentions. I said, look, we cannot defend intentions. The Bible says the heart of man, who can know it? Nobody gets to see your intention. What they judge is your action, right? You can have the best of intentions, but if you communicate with the wrong action, it's still wrong. All right, just because you had a good intention, if your action is wrong, it's wrong. Your intention is not what's going to change it because we cannot see your mind to know your intention. It's your action we can see, and it's your action you can defend. Somebody opens the door and sees you in a very compromising manner. You say, oh, in my heart, nothing was going on. No, it's your action that they can see. And that is why you need to protect the kind of actions that you make. I don't know if that one makes sense, right? So many of us, we just like to, let me say something to us. It might sound very, very difficult or very, what's the word now? We might not get it or we might not agree. It might sound controversial or something. You see, just because you are not sleeping with the opposite sex, it doesn't mean that what you are still doing with them is right. Many of us, we start to think of opposite sex relationship as wrong because sex is happening. Sex does not need to happen for certain things that you do with the opposite sex to be wrong. As I'm here now, I'm married, I'm a mother. I'll not be chatting with one guy. He will call me baby. Me too, I'll call him baby. I'll call him baby boy. He will call me baby girl. How? And then my husband questions it and I want to defend myself. I say, no, there's nothing going on. No, no, no. No. I don't want to create the wrong impression. I don't want to have to explain my disposition too much. Hence, I'm going to put a boundary. Yes, I'm going to put a boundary. How I want you to relate to me. Apart from just even being accountable to my husband, you are doing it for yourself. Listen, we underestimate our emotions a lot. A lot of us, we like to form hard guy, hard guy, hard guy. You are a human being. Yeah, you are a human being with emotions. We underestimate our emotions a lot. But you are a human being. What do I mean by you're a human being? Sometimes you have the worst days. Sometimes your days are not, you have bad days. You have days where you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You're not feeling loved. You're not feeling appreciated enough. Or, different kinds of things happened, within the week. Or you and your partner even quarreled, or you argued, or you fought, whatever, whatever, whatever. Guess what? When you are down emotionally, what does your mind? Your mind starts to look for comfort in familiar places. That's what your mind starts to do. So sometimes you want to pick up your phone and call your best friend, maybe a female friend, to say, "Can we hang out? I'm just feeling down." What are you doing? You are looking for comfort at that time. So if there is one guy somewhere or one lady somewhere, and then you are not, you don't have that discipline, by the time things are going wrong in your marriage or things are going wrong in your home, by the time you have those downtimes, guess what will happen? You start looking for comfort in those places. You start looking for comfort in those places. So when you put boundaries in how people should relate to you as a married person, as a married woman, as a married man, it helps you. It helps to keep you in check. Nobody is perfect. There's nobody that is above temptation, but learn to put certain things in check. All right. Now, you are a friend to a married person. I've just talked about how the married person should comport themselves. Now, you are the best friend in question or the close friend to a married person. You also need discretion too. Because some of us, as best friends or close friends to people who are married, we don't know when we are overstepping our boundaries. We don't know when we are doing too much, right? We don't know when we are doing the most. We don't know. We are ignorant of it. That's because we've always related with this person a certain way. Now that they are married, that switch hasn't turned off that, okay, this person is now married. We still treat the person like they were not married. So you are close to a married man, for instance, and while you were his best friend or close female friend when he was single, maybe you used to touch his head and he doesn't mind. Now that he's married, another woman's husband, you can't touch his head again because these are some of the things that we do in the name of, oh, we are very free, oh, we are very close like that. And then the spouse of that person, you know, reacts and says, "No, you can't be touching my husband on his head. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to him. It's disrespectful to me as his wife. You can't be doing that." Guess what? We start calling that spouse that reacted that way insecure, jealous, immature, forgetting that that spouse is a human being. They are bound to feel disrespected. They are bound to feel jealous. Yes, jealous. Jealousy is not, how do I put it? Jealousy is that feeling that we want to guard what we have because we don't want to lose it. Jealousy is different from envy. Envy is when you hate somebody because you feel that what they have, you are the one that should have it. That's envy. So you hate them for what they have. Jealousy is, that feeling that you have within you that makes you guide what you love so that you do not lose it. This world is wicked. Let's not even pretend about it. And so somebody is, playing around, your guards are up. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes we can overreact. Sometimes we don't handle or deploy our jealousy, the proper way. All right. But then we don't get to do something because you are close to a married woman. You do some things, and then a husband is reacting and saying, "Why would you do that with my wife?" You say that man is always jealous. He doesn't like to see people around his wife. That woman is always jealous. No, put yourself in that person's shoes. If that was you are the spouse of that person, is that how you take it? You take it very, very very lightly. Be honest. If you were in their shoes, would you take it lightly? A young lady will just come and touch your husband's head. Ah, will you take it lightly if that was you and somebody did that to your husband? Let's learn to be let's learn to put ourselves in people's positions. Let's not just be quick to say, "Oh, they are jealous, oh, they are insecure, oh, they are this, they are that." No, there are certain boundaries you don't cross, either with someone who is in a serious relationship heading to marriage or someone who is married. All right, you need to respect that you are close to a married man or you are very free or whatever. you see him and then you jump on his body because you're hugging him. Hey, 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 uncle, uncle, uncle. That's not proper. All right. It's not a sin, but it is not proper. Calm yourself down. All right. Now, certain times, even you, I'm talking about you as the best friend now, the discretion that you need to employ as you relate with your married friend. Sometimes, as a lady, if you see maybe your male friend, male close friend who is married, sometimes he can even come and start telling you a lot of sensitive things about himself, or he can come and start telling you about things that are going on in his marriage, or he can come and start telling you, a lot of stuff that you feel that, why are you telling me this? You should be telling your wife all of these things. You know what you should do? Don't take advantage of that situation. Reroute that person to his wife. Reroute that woman to her husband. A woman cries to you as her male colleague or whatever and says, "Oh, I'm having a downtime, blah, 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 blah." She's in a vulnerable position emotionally. Don't take advantage of that person. Reroute that person back to their spouse. Can I talk to your husband about this? Is it okay? Try to see how you can be the glue that glues them together. Stop waiting for an opportunity to, they split apart, then you take advantage. Stop waiting for them to, break up so that you can come in. No. If truly you are a best friend, a good friend, if your opposite sex friends you have issues in their relationships, you should be the one looking out to say, okay, how can I help them fix this? Should I set up a meeting where, I bring the both of you to talk, you know. But what do some of us do, especially as women? Like I said, it's women that do these things. They bring their shoulder, cry, cry on my shoulder. They offer their shoulders for you to cry. Yeah, they offer their shoulders. Reroute that man to his wife. Sometimes he's battling with lust. Sometimes he's battling with, he's just pressured, maybe financially. Maybe he's going through stuff and he comes to you, female colleague at work. Don't take advantage of that man. Don't take advantage of that woman. Reroute, push that person back. Say, okay, can I talk to your wife about this if it's okay with you? Try to be the friend indeed. That's what it means to be a friend. Don't be a foe in the what's it called now? In the agbada of a friend. Don't be an enemy in the agbada of a friend. All right. If you are a friend and you see, your male best friend or your female close friend, in situations where they are having issues in their relationships or in their marriage, stop looking at it as an advantage that should work for you. No, try to bring them together. That's why you're a good friend. All right. Now, also, you need to apply discretion. If you happen to be maybe a close female friend to a man and then the man gets married, or vice versa, a close male friend to a lady and now the lady is married, um, stop trying to prove a point that you know the spouse better than the other person. What do I mean? Let's say you are friends or you are very close to a married man or you are very close to a married woman. All right. Now, the truth is that really you have been in the picture before their spouse. That's the truth. And to be honest, you know them better than their spouse. That's the truth. All right. But when this spouse comes into the picture, I'm saying stop trying to prove a point that you know their spouse better than them. Sometimes, you have friends that do these things and rub it in the face of the spouse. They just want to prove a point that they know your husband more than you. They know your wife more than you. They know what your wife likes and how they like it more than you. They- don't do that. That's why they are married. They are there to understand each other. That's why they are in a relationship. They don't need you, to give them tutorials. Come, let me tell you what your husband likes, or come, let me tell you how your no, no, leave them. They will grow together. They will understand you. Stop trying to prove a point. You also need to apply discretion here because sometimes it can be unintentional, right? So maybe you see the husband, he wants to get a gift for his wife, and you know that his wife's favorite color is blue. Maybe he doesn't know that yet. Don't just say, "Oh, you don't even know your wife's favorite color." Her favorite color is blue. Oh God, drop that thing. No, no. Allow him buy. Allow him buy it. Let him take it to the wife. Let the wife tell him, "Oh my, no, no, I don't like this color." That's marriage. They don't need you as an assistant spouse in that marriage. No, don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Lastly, I'm going to round up on this by asking or by saying this. I've discovered that a lot of times people don't understand the gravity of something until that same thing is done to them. So, for you as a married man or as a married woman who says, oh, you believe that it is not wrong that you have, you know, an opposite sex close friend or best friend, that is your disposition. You don't think there's anything wrong as a married man to have a female best friend aside from your wife. As a man, you don't think a woman, you don't think there's anything wrong to have a male best friend or a male close friend aside from your husband. That's your disposition on this matter, right? Now, the question I want to ask is, the friendship that you have with this person, all right? You know the depth of the friendship. You know the mode of operations of the friendship. The question I want to ask you is that if your spouse or your partner goes ahead to have this exact same opposite sex friendship that you have with somebody, if your spouse goes ahead to have that same kind of friendship, will you allow it? Yeah, ponder on that question. There is a way you relate with that close lady or that close friend who is a lady. There's a way you relate with that close friend who is a guy. No problem. I'm saying, as a lady, if your husband decides tomorrow that, oh, there's also one lady that he would like to, the way you are relating with this guy in the name of he's your friend, if your husband also has a female friend who he relates with the exact same way you relate with this guy, are you going to be okay with it? In all honesty, answer that question. You're not going to see anything wrong because most times nothing is a big deal or something is not really a big deal until we are the ones who are the victims or we are the ones who are wearing the shoes at that time. If at this time you are saying, oh, I don't see anything wrong as a man, I have a close female friend, there's nothing wrong with it, fine. I'm simply asking you that, is your wife allowed to have that same relationship? The way you have a relationship with this person, is your wife allowed to do that? Think about it, all right? Let us learn to build friendships in our marriages. Ideally, your spouse should be your best friend. The major reason why there's no friendship in most marriages is because both parties they are not intentional about building friendship. They are not intentional about building friendship. A lot of them, they are still stuck, like I said, on the friendship they have with somebody else outside. Melita, it would be great if you can. How do we communicate after now? Because I've seen a lot of your comments and I would love us to talk. Yeah, I would love us to talk. So I don't know, how do we communicate? Okay, maybe you can reach me via my email. Okay, I'm going to drop my email. I think my email is already in the. Did I put it in the description box? I don't think so. But I'm going to reach out to you. Oh, you're on socials with this same name? The same name, Melita Labot. If it's with the same name, then I'll look for you. Then we can talk. We can really, really talk about it because I'm seeing all of your comments. All right. So I'm going to round up here. And then next week, like I said, we're going to be discussing about emotional affairs. Yeah, like I said in the course of this teaching, it's not until you sleep with somebody that you're doing the wrong thing. Yes, it's not until sex is involved. There are two kinds of intimacies. You have physical intimacy, you have emotional intimacy. You can be emotionally invested in somebody so much to the point that, we just talked about it. We touched on it as we talked about these things. You are so emotionally invested in this other person, and your relationship, your marriage is suffering. You're emotionally cheating on your partner. So that's what we'll be looking at next week. Because a lot of people don't know that they are emotionally cheating on their partners. They don't know. As far as they are concerned, I haven't slept with anybody. I didn't have sex with anybody. So how come you say I'm cheating on you? It's not only when sex is involved. I just want to let you know. So we'll look at that next week. If you don't, or rather, if you didn't get anything from everything I said tonight, I don't want you to forget that when you are married or when you are in a committed relationship that is leading to marriage, the wisest thing to do, the right thing to do, is to make your friends our friends. That's important. Make your friends our friends. My friends should be your friends. Your friends should be my friends. If your friends have spouses, they should be our friends. Once in a while, we should have dinner where, the table is long and we're seeing everybody. Nobody is hiding anything from anybody. That is the right thing that should happen. If, as a married person, you had a best friend before you got married, I've seen a situation where a guy, he got married to this lady, but his best friend or his bestie, that's the female best friend, will call him. She hasn't even said what is wrong with her. She will just call him and immediately she's just crying on the phone. He just stands up, gets his car keys, piam, he has gone to her place. He won't even tell the wife, this is where I'm going. Or okay, can you accompany me? No. If the bestie just if she just sneezes like this guy will nearly die. I want to just give a word of advice. If you are a lady in a relationship, right? And you notice that the person you want to get married to, the guy you want to get married to, is either still stuck on his ex, or he has this female friend that, their relationship is very, very funny. Funny in the sense that that girl is not close to you and she doesn't want to be your friend. You can tell from her body language, you can tell from she doesn't want to be your friend. The indications are there. Or he himself, he doesn't want both of you to be close. If you are in that situation where, see, if you are loved, you know. When you are loved, you know as a person. When you are respected, you know. When someone has earned your trust, you know. These things they're not rocket science. We know these things. When we are loved, we know. The red flags are there, but most times because we just want to get married, we just want to be in a relationship, we ignore all of these signs and then we go after those things that we should not go after. If you are in a relationship where the lady, she's always talking to, there's this guy she talks to every day, hours, they talk about everything if you are in such relationships, please don't rush into marriage. Oh, I'm giving this word of advice. Yes, it's one thing to get into marriage and maybe you didn't know on time, you didn't find that out before the marriage. That's a different thing. But that you are aware, your fiancé or your fiance that you want to get married to, there's this guy in the picture. They talk every day. Sometimes she visits him, sometimes she sleeps over. You can't really, the relationship is, she'll tell you he's like a brother to me, but it's giving relationship vibes with the other person. You tell you, oh, there's nothing going on between us. He's just my best friend. He's just a close friend. She, if you are in such a relationship, please don't rush into marriage. Yes, don't rush. Take your time and then sit your partner down and let your partner know or ask them, what do you really want? You want to be with that person? Go and be with them. Go and be with them. The last thing you want to do is to set up. I was telling someone, I said, look, the rest of your life is a very long time. You surely don't want to set yourself up to be miserable for the rest of your life. No, no, don't do that. All right. So if you're in a relationship where your partner has a very undefined or one kind of relationship that's not clear with the opposite sex, every time you ask questions, they need to defend that relationship. They need to explain something. And you are feeling it that something is just off. What's really going on? Please don't rush into marriage with that person. Clarify what needs to be clarified. Ask them where they stand. Let them tell you what they want and let their actions speak louder than their words. Don't just listen to what they are saying. Look at what they are doing. Sometimes when people show us who they are, we want to make excuses for them. Don't make excuses for anybody. You want to spend the rest of your life with someone, let them prove it to you that they are worth it. All right, so I'm going to round up here, and then next week we'll talk about emotional affairs. If you haven't subscribed until now, please subscribe. Like I said, I want to get to 1K subs before the end of this year. So if you haven't subscribed, it doesn't take a lot. Just hit the subscribe button and you have made my day. Okay, so we'll see next week. God bless you. Mwah. Melita, I'm going to look for you. All right.